I had top shelf chemo. I had a double mastectomy. I had everything. It was not easy, but the movement really helped me get through it. And that's probably what I really wanted to portray to people, that as sick as I felt, I always knew I would feel better if I moved.
Hello, fabulous humans, beautiful people, and trailblazers. It's Michele Phillips with another episode of Write Your Outcome. I am here today with Carly Fauth. Am I saying your name right?
It's Fauth, but you can say Fauth. People say it all different ways, but yes, it is Fauth, but however you want to say it is fine.
Well, welcome to Write Your Outcome, Carly. We'll keep it at that.
Thank you.
I'm very excited to have you here. Those of you who listen know how I start. I like to read about this person because I don't want to miss any of their fabulousness out. So I'm going to read a brief introduction about Carly. She has an amazing story, and then we're going to dive in. So today I'm joined by Carly, the founder of Fit in Fitness, a movement philosophy built on the belief that life's transitions don't have to disconnect us from our bodies. Whether you're navigating menopause, recovering from an illness, healing from an injury, or simply trying to find your footing again, Carly helps women rediscover strength, resilience, and confidence through movement that truly fits real life. And I can't wait to talk about this. A fitness instructor, mentor, and cancer exercise specialist, Carly brings over 15 years of experience and the heart of a triple negative breast cancer survivor to her work. Through her signature programs like the 15-Minute Club, I love the sound of that, Splash Hit, Personal Fit in Coaching, and her book, Pray for the Bear, a powerful survival guide for life's hardest moments, inspired by her journey with breast cancer. Carly creates a safe, compassionate space where progress matters more than perfection. We have so much in common. And movement becomes a form of healing. Her message is simple and powerful, and I can't even wait to dive in. I always say movement is life. The more I move, I always say that I have all these mantras. The more I move, the better I feel. I always say that to myself. The more I move, the better I feel. So this is Write Your Outcome. And I did, go on your website. I looked at your Instagram, and if I'm understanding your story correctly, you were already doing the fitness piece when you got cancer.
Yes.
And what really struck me was you decided you're not going to miss a beat. You're going to keep your clients, so let's start right there. This is a life-changing moment, and you wrote your outcome. Like, what made you even do that? Was it 24 hours later, 48 hours later, 2 weeks after you got the diagnosis?
Well, I think
talk about that journey.
Yeah, the diagnosis kind of came as a shock to me because I've always lived a very healthy lifestyle. So it's not that I didn't think I was going to get cancer, but it wasn't on my radar. And just, I had been a fitness instructor for a long time, but about not even a year before I decided to make fitness my full-time job. And it's just me that works for me. I don't have instructors underneath me. I created a whole Get Fit in 15 minutes method that I had been developing and helping my clients with, which actually, it's weird how the universe works. That actually played into my whole cancer journey and connection to exercise during my cancer journey, because I had this idea already. And so when I was diagnosed, I thought to myself, how the heck am I going to do this? I'm a fitness instructor. And the only example of chemo that I really had, like as an experience or knew about, was my grandmother when I was 11 years old. And she had sores in her mouth and had her head over the toilet. And I thought, how the heck am I going to teach these classes when I may be feeling so absolutely gross? And I thought to myself, okay, well, I'm going to have to figure out a way, because I had to work. And I was getting momentum with my business. So I went to my oncologist and I said, listen, this is my profession. I can't take time off. Is exercise something I can do during my treatment? And I love my oncologist. She was very honest. She said, I don't know a lot about that. She said, but I just went to this conference and I saw this woman speak. And she said that exercise can help cancer patients get through their treatment, can help them come out stronger, can help reduce the rate of reoccurrence. So read this book, Moving Through Cancer by Katie Schmidt, and read it. And then I opened it up and I was glued from the first page. And I thought, okay, game on, I can do this. So that's when I decided to say to myself, you know what? I don't know. And I was honest with everyone in my realm, my clients. I said, I don't know what the road will be like. I've never had cancer before. I don't know what this will look like, but I do know that there's research out there that supports the fact that exercise can help during a cancer journey. So I'm going to make you a promise that I will show up for you, or I will try to show up for you every single day. I'm not going to cancel classes. I will show up however I'm feeling for at least 15 minutes, and we'll just take it day by day. So if I show up for you, I hope you'll show up for me, and we can make this a team effort. So that is how that kind of started. And don't get me wrong. I think people have this perception that cancer, the cold treatment process was easy for me. I had top shelf chemo. I had a double mastectomy. I had everything. It was not easy, but the movement really helped me get through it. And that's probably what I really wanted to portray to people, that as sick as I felt, I always knew I would feel better if I moved. And that's the message I wanted to get across to everyone during my journey. I thought that could be something I could use myself as an example to try to get people to get off the couch. So that is how that whole thing started. That is how that whole thing started. Yeah.
Because I do believe that nothing happens by accident, and the divine timing of you creating, it's a 15-minute workout, correct?
Yes. Getting fit in 15 minutes, fit in fitness. So the idea is that consistency is more important than intensity. And I just think that
effect.
Yes. Yeah. And I think that 15 minutes is such a realistic amount of time for someone to be able to commit to. And then what happens is, if you can do 15 minutes on the good days, you can probably do 15 minutes more. So you progress kind of naturally. It's also a great way for people to get extra credit if they're already physically fit and if they're runners and they want to work more on strength. It's just a nice number, and you can wrap your brain around it. So that's how I came up with it. I realized that that's how I had been living my whole life. And I have remained consistent with fitness through my entire life. And it hasn't been that hard because I actually enjoy it because of the way
you say something so important, because I'm going to grab my little I keep an easy button on my desk.
Oh, I love it.
So if people can hear it, it goes, that was easy. Because I always believe if it's not easy, you're not going to be consistent. Mm-hmm. So, in my first book, I write about just movement is life. Mm-hmm. Just get out and move. And I love how you broke it down to 15 minutes. And if you could do 15, you could do 30. I also love when you got diagnosed, it's almost the 15 minutes, even when it seems like so doable, right? Even if you're sick, right? Even if you just have to walk around the block for 15 minutes and I was on your Instagram, and I love you're outside with your son and you're doing different things. So the beauty of that is you can almost do 15 minutes anywhere you are.
Oh my goodness.
So
yes.
I love that. So you've got the 15 minutes, you've got the diagnosis. Now tell us about your journey. Were you rewriting your outcome throughout the journey? You said it was, were there days that you couldn't show up? How did that play out?
I never didn't show up. And there were probably some days where, I could have easily not shown up, and anybody else would have been like, just don't do it. Some of my clients, I know they were talking behind the scenes of should we tell Carly that she doesn't have to show up? But I had some clients that were like, no, it's the worst thing you can do with Carly. She needs this. So we need to support her. She's a big girl. Yeah. She's a big girl. She can make her decisions. And I really appreciated that. I think it was my way of controlling an uncontrollable situation. I always say that to my clients as well. You can't control what life hands you. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You get handed some really difficult things, but in the thing, what can you find to give you that sense of control to help propel you forward? And most of the time that's exercise, because you get to make the choice whether you move or you don't. And you're going to feel better. It's a win-win situation. There's nothing bad that can happen from you moving 15 minutes. There isn't. Only good things can come of it. So
how do you get, so I have so many questions for you, but people, I've worked out my entire life since my 20s. I can't stop. I just did a hard ass 20-mile hike on Saturday, which
awesome,
all uphill and, technical hiking. It was not a walk in the park by no means, but my body makes me so proud. But I remember gosh, we're going way back. The first aerobics class I ever took, I was young. I mean, we're talking those little silky shorts I used to wear. I can't know how old you are. I used to wear them. And I remember going to my first aerobics class in these little tiny shorts, not having any idea what I was going to. and, bending over. I was like, oh my God, these are the totally wrong pants to wear for what I'm doing. And then I remember I left the room and my face was so red. Back in the day, I smoked, I didn't work out. And this woman passing me in the hallway said to me, she looked at my red face and she goes, oh, good, you're out of the sunbed. I was like, I wasn't in the sunbed. I just can't breathe. But I really made a commitment then, and I was young, to say, I worked myself from the back of the room to the front of the room, right?
Yeah.
So I could be proud of my body. And then I was hooked. Once you see the result that your body responds to movement and that you have control over that, it's a game changer. So what are the tips you get? What kind of people are you working with? Are they people that have never worked out before? Are they people like me that have worked out their whole life? Tell us about your clients.
Everyone. So a lot of people, it's either, I work with a lot of people who are former athletes and like at the top of their game. And then I think what happens is if you are playing college sports or you're really intense into something and there's like a plan given to you, so you have a coach and a team, then you have everything put out in front of you and you kind of get burnt out a little bit. Then when you have to do it on your own, you don't know how to do it without somebody telling you. And you lose motivation. I think a lot of women have a tough time transitioning through perimenopause and menopause because your body just doesn't react to things the same way that it did. And that can really do a number on your head and your body. And it makes you feel like you lost your spark. So there's different ways around that, kind of not comparing yourself to the way you used to be, because there's so many different forms of fitness and ways of working your body that may be really appealing to you now that weren't before. So I work a lot with people in that age group. I also work with people who it maybe feel like, there's a fine line to having a healthy habit and then maybe going a little overboard. And I work with some clients too who are obsessed with fitness and need to find a way to kind of dial it back in a way that still feels good to them and makes them feel like they're accomplishing something. So pretty much I've worked with every kind of person when it comes to fitness. And I just really love to see the confidence come back, whether it be somebody who's working out too much and then they realize that they can really appreciate what their body can do and not be punishing their body, to somebody who has lost their confidence because they don't like the way they look anymore. And then we try to focus on, okay, it may take a little longer for you to get the physical results you want. You will, but let's focus on how this is affecting your mental health and how much stronger you're getting and the good it's doing inside your body. So it's just kind of, I just feel like I'm on this path of kind of redefining exercise, of like how we do it and why we do it. And because
and you're hitting on, to me, the common theme in all your clients is we're always transitioning. Whether you're an athlete transitioning to not, having something structured, or you're going through menopause or whatever it is, and realizing that, I laugh like as I got older, my eyebrows started changing. I'm like, really? I felt like that was the one thing that was going to stay the same on my body.
Nothing stays the same.
Exactly.
Nothing.
So the irony, but being open to the transition. And, earlier when I first started working out, you said another thing that really resonated with me. I worked out for almost a full year before seeing my body change. And I kept telling myself, my heart must feel really good and my mind's feeling good. And then one day you're like, I see a little bit of a muscle, and it's very exciting. But most people would give up before that. So it's helping people with what you're saying, the mental piece of it, and realizing, when you do work out, whether you're seeing an actual result in the scale or in a measurement or in the mirror, you're still getting a result in your heart and in your head. So talk about that. How do you handle that with your clients?
I think it's really important to recognize too, in relation to that like our culture is saturated on social media with this ideal body image of bulging biceps and 6-pack abs and everything being focused on the physical. And I think that it's really important to recognize that that's what's being put in front of everyone's faces all the time. So it's very easy to think that that is the goal of exercise. It's the physical. So I think a lot of the work I do is really assessing the situation of their relationship to fitness when they were a kid. What was their kid? What did they do? How did they move when they were younger? How did they feel about it? What did they like to do? And really trying to dig a little bit deeper on what is holding them back from moving. Because a lot of times I kind of think my job, I'm not a therapist. I never pretend to be, but a lot of it is like, there's a lot of tears that happen because people that we're really working the mental muscle more than the physical muscles. The physical body is actually pretty easy to get on board with fitness, but it's the mental muscle that needs to be worked, and to rethink about what's your why. What is the thing that would get you out of bed in the morning? If you do not have a powerful why, you're not going to get out of bed on those mornings where you don't feel like it. My why is that I don't want my cancer to come back. So you better believe I could be exhausted. And as soon as I think of having to go through that again, I'm like, feet are on the floor. Let's go. I'm disconnecting from the idea that I don't want to do it. It doesn't matter. It's an action.
Exactly.
I'll feel the emotions later.
I always say Nike, just do it is the best
it's
slogan
true.
ever.
Just do it.
You're triggering so many things with me. I want to get to your book, but there's something I want to share. I don't know how many years ago I biked across England with my husband.
Oh.
And I love to say that because it sounds so impressive, but England's like the size of New Jersey.
Hey, I like it.
It was a 3-day bike.
Yeah.
And I really worked out my body very hard to get in shape for this, but I didn't work out my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And the first day the first day was beautifully sunny. The second day it rained. It was cold. I was cursing at my husband the whole day. Like, what the hell were we thinking of coming? Why don't we go to Italy? Why don't we choose England? And after I came down from my little fit, I said to myself, Michele, you worked out your body, but you did not prepare your mind for what was going to be. So it really taught me a lesson that the preparation of my mind is just as important. And it's what you're saying, and knowing your why. Hello, I am interrupting this podcast with a very exciting announcement. My brand new book, Energize Your Happiness, Tap into Your Personal Energy and Shape Your Destiny, is now available during the soft launch for the month of November at energizeyourhappiness.com. If you have ever found yourself saying, I just don't feel like myself, I want to get back to feeling like myself again, this book is for you. It is a guide to coming home to yourself, to get beneath the stress and the noise and all those external distractions that are sapping your energy, that are taking your energy, that are wasting your energy, and to refocus you on what's important. I call them energy rules. I give Energizio exercises. And in my 25-year career, I have helped thousands of people shift their mindset, restore their energy, and rewrite the story of their life one intentional choice at a time. I also promise you this doesn't have to be hard. You don't have to push so hard to be happy. You just have to learn to harness and connect with the energy that is already within you. I am so excited. This book has been a labor of love, a decade in the making. My heart and soul and blood and tears is in this book, and I really can't wait. I'm so proud of it, and I want to share it with you. So please go to energizeyourhappiness.com, buy the book, get it as a gift, share the link with others, make it a great day. Write your outcome, and let's go back to the podcast. So then you wrote a book while you were going through treatment, I believe.
Yeah, I was I really took advantage of anything I could think of to make the experience, to make lemonade out of really rotten lemons.
I love it. Yes.
So I started a podcast from my chemo chair without permission, to get myself through chemo. And then I decided I was going to write a book, because what I started to realize was I was having all these thoughts about former challenges that I faced in my life that made no sense to me. So as an example, when I was younger in middle school, I just had a mental breakdown for no reason. And I had anxiety and depression. It didn't make any sense. And I was like, why do I have to go through this? I don't understand it. And all of a sudden I had this aha moment when I got the cancer diagnosis and I was going through some pretty tough anxiety. I thought, you know why? I couldn't get through this unless I went through that. So all these and I was like, I'm pulling strength from all these hard things that I had to go through. So that wasn't a waste. And I started to have all these thoughts that I was like, I think my thoughts and the things that I'm realizing can help people get through any hard time. It's called Pray for the Bear. If you see me in a fight with a bear, pray for the bear. It's a Kobe Bryant quote. I was like, that became my rallying cry, pray for the bear. But I thought, okay, cancer is my bear, but it could be divorce. It could be death. It could be anything. That it's the same feelings. It's a different situation. But how can I help people use the challenges they went through before, use movement, use the people around them to get through these tough times. And I was like, I'm going to write a book about it. And then I did, because there were those days where I couldn't really do much after I did my movement. I mean, I was pretty like zonked out, where I wanted to keep my mind going. I knew that was really important. So I was like, I'm just going to write. And I just had streams of thought. And then I turned it into a book.
But you did so, and this is Write Your Outcome. So anyone listening, are you hearing what this woman is saying? Like, you get the worst news that you ever want and you write a new outcome. Then in the middle of it, you write another outcome while you're sitting in a chemo chair. So you're always, what do you want to come from this? And I always say everything that happens in my life is for my growth and glory, whether I like it or not. And for years, I didn't understand that saying, like, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. I'm like, what does that even mean? But it's like, don't throw the idea, a piece of it might not work, but there's something, even in your hardest moments, there's something there for you to get and for you to learn. And were you always like this? Or was this like I feel like we're always awakening, but some parts of our life, the awakening is going faster than others. Was this just an accelerated time for you, or just?
Yeah, no, I can't say. I mean, I think this person was always locked inside of me, and I think I felt it. Like, I felt her growing, and it was a little scary to me because I was always very reserved and very timid and shy and a lot of anxiety and just not very confident. But I knew deep down I just didn't know how to get to it. So I think all these hard experiences helped me have to dig a little bit to get to that true Carly. And it was really, really hard. I mean, some of the things I went through were really like very, very hard, but it just goes to show you that I think every hard time has silver lining. Seems a little schmaltzy, but like has a nugget there that will help you grow, but you have to see it. It's not going to pop out at you, and you have the courage to see it. It's hard. It's hard in some situations to be like, what's the good in here? What positive thing can I take from this? But there's a choice. It's there. You just have to open your eyes and be willing to see it. So that's what I really realized.
And you also, what you said earlier about like the images we get of everybody being perfect and having it all together. And it's the need to be genuine. Sometimes I always say, who are you? What do you want, Michele? What do you want? What do you want? Because sometimes I think, did I want that? Or did someone tell me to want that? Right. Did I see an ad and it says I should drink Coke and buy a Volvo? And, it's really kind of getting in tune with yourself. So what were you doing before you were doing the fitness full time? I'm curious.
Oh my gosh. I was the jack of all trades. I had no idea what I think it was going back to the thing of who I thought I should be. So I was like, I moved to Spain to learn Spanish because I thought I was going to have this international career, but that didn't pan out. And then I worked in advertising and marketing and for startups. And I did everything under the sun. And I never felt like I was being authentic I was just being who I thought I should be or what people expected me to be until fitness was really like a side hustle for me for a really long time. And then I started to get a following and people were listening to me and I was helping people. And I was like, no, this is Carly. And then that was hard for me too, because I just like teaching a fitness class. I never taught anything in my life. I was so scared. But then I realized that like once I really started to show who I really was, and I was always kind of afraid to show that person, that's when people started to like really latch on to me or I started to feel success because I was being Carly, for better or for worse. I mean, I'm not everyone's
Carly,
cup of tea, but
your words are helping so many people right now. And I love that you said you did all those different things because when I work in corporations, I make the joke. Some people make a bad career decision like early in their career and then they stay for 30 years. I'm like, there are no chains on your feet. If this role, if this company, if this boss, if this whatever department doesn't fit you, try something else. And you had the courage to go to Spain to try advertising. I had a friend years ago. He said that when he went to college, he was all over the map and he got pulled into the guidance office and they said, what are you majoring in? And he went, I'm here to try on different things to see what I like. Like, why do I have to pick one? The world is full of so many cool things. So I really believe you're helping so many people. Just who are you and what do you want and where are you going and what is your authentic self? I'm very high energy. I'm very loud. I'm very happy and positive. And years ago, somebody wrote in my evaluation that I was alarmingly enthusiastic.
I would get the same thing.
And I don't think it was a compliment, but I have to embrace that I do have a lot of energy, and, some of it's natural. Some of it's because I love my life and I've created like a life I love. But anyone listening, I always ask my clients 2 questions. How are you feeling right now? And are you happy with your results? And if you don't get the answer you want, try advertising, move to Spain. I don't know, write a book. So I love, love, love everything you're doing. So I was reading you had 2 things. What splash hit? I'd love to know.
I started an aqua fitness company with a partner, based on finding the joy in fitness. Water has always brought me joy. And I started realizing that it didn't have to look like, water aerobics. Nothing against old ladies. Like, it's great, but it didn't have to, like, I started working out in the pool and I was like, oh, I'm like getting a really great workout. My joints feel great. So we started that company. It's now just local in Milford, Massachusetts. It's no longer like a brand that we're trying to push across the country. But it was very interesting. I'm happy I did that. That was another thing I tried, and it has all led me to what I'm doing now, because I think that was the first start of me really thinking about like, why do I love exercise? And like, why does it bring me joy? And like trying to figure that out and trying to help people find the joy. And a lot of people still do find the joy in Splash It working out in Milford, Massachusetts, with the format. So that was all part of my journey as well. Not everything has to be glaring success to be.
But useful. I also like what you're saying too, is try different things.
Yeah.
Don't, if you're on that treadmill every day, to me, that's like last resort. If I can't get outside, if I can't dance in the living room, that's like so trying different things, seeing what resonates with you in your fitness. And then I do want to talk about menopause a little, because that's something that really shakes women. It shakes our confidence. And, I used to wake up with, I never had like really bad, like, wet, the bed soaking wet when you wake up, but I would wake up more hot. Like I had to kick the covers off. And I started telling myself I was having a power surge, and that my soul must have something to tell me. That's
I like that. I like
because
that
I have
definition.
to flip it, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of, this is what's happening. And I kept saying my body knows what it's doing, and my body knows what it's doing, and this is going to pass. So let's talk. I'd love to hear some of your tips or stories on, helping women through that crazy time.
So in regards to fitness, I think it's just, like I said before, like really trying to embrace the idea that there's so many things that you may not have discovered about yourself, about exercise, that are available to you. But if you're still holding on to like the person you were before, you're not going to be able to experience all these great new things that will bring you just as much joy as the other things you think have brought you joy for so many years. It's almost the courage to let go a little bit and understand that you can still get the same results, but you just have to go about things differently. So like a HIIT class, for example, like as women get older, you don't get the same, because your body chemicals are changing. You don't get the same gratification. If you're somebody who loved a HIIT class, you may not get the same gratification that you got from it before, but you still can, maybe focusing on it for the 15 minutes. Like studies have shown that 15 minutes of HIIT, less time, where you can have a beginning and an end that's totally realistic, where you can treat a HIIT class exactly the way it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be comfortable. For 15 minutes is more effective than putting yourself through a 45-minute HIIT class. So like, that's what good news is that? Who wants to do a Tabata?
If I followed you, now you got my brain going. If I follow you, I travel a lot. I have great instructors in my town when I go to my yoga studio, when I go to my gym, but when not like this week, the last 2 weeks, next week, I'm in a hotel. So if I follow you, can I do your little 15-minute workout?
So what I do now is I make a complete fool out of myself, because I'm so passionate about this, is I do fit in fitness pop-ups. So most days of the week, I will just go to a random spot. I have a sign and I go on Instagram Live and I do a 15-minute workout wherever I am, whoever I'm with. I've gotten in trouble before. I mean, it's always comical. My camera.
I wish I lived near you.
Yeah, it's really fun. Like everyone now around here is like, oh my, like when they see me, they're like, oh my gosh, are you going to ask me to fit in fitness with you? I'm not prepared. I'm like, that's not all I do. But like, it really is. I just want to show people that we all should be moving more. Why aren't you moving when your kids are at soccer practice? Why are you not doing what are you embarrassed about? If somebody is saying something bad about you or makes fun of you or you get in trouble, it says more about them than it does about you. You're probably bringing something in them, bringing up something that makes them feel less than, and they're taking it out on you. So yes, I go on Instagram Live most days, and it's a different format and you hear my chit chat. I like to talk. I talk to the people I'm with, or sometimes I'm by myself. I do it in dentist's office. I do it everywhere. So yeah, and I do have a whole subscription too of like 15-minute work. I have over like 4,500 classes. As well, like a standard subscription.
So I will be following you. Anybody listening, tell us your Instagram right now.
It's at FitFunCarly. So everyone says Fun Fit, but it's FitFun Carly on Instagram, and I'm also on TikTok. I don't like TikTok as much, but
I don't do TikTok. But please share your TikTok. Is it the same thing?
It is. I should know what it is. It's different. Wait, let me look. Can I look on my phone to tell you?
Go
what
for
it is? It is. I feel terrible. This is how much I love TikTok. I'm actually on it all the time. I'm just not. It is. Hang on. I am at FF Carly.
Okay. At FF Carly. So I will be following you on Instagram. I'll be in Texas next week. So maybe I'll do another 15-minute, because I find it, it was so funny. I was in the gym last Monday. So I was gone for like 3 weeks, and I'm back for a week. Then I'm gone again for 2 weeks. And we were doing something overhead hard, and my arms got tired. So I put them down, and the instructor just walked by me and she goes, "Who hasn't been here for 2 weeks?"
And you're like,
she was teasing me.
Yeah.
And I work out all the time. I still work out in the hotel, but again, I don't push myself the way I would if I was following a HIIT workout or somebody else doing it. So I will definitely be a fan now, a fangirl for you.
Yay!
Because I love everything you're doing.
Thanks.
So, cancer is you talk about the rug getting ripped out from under you. That's a hugest thing. But let's just say now you're in remission, you're feeling good. What are just some of your healthy habits? My first book was The Habits of Happy and Healthy People, mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. Mm-hmm. So I'd love to hear maybe 2 or 3 of your habits that keep you positive, keep you moving, about just exercise and mind, and maybe food even too.
Yeah. So, obviously exercise and movement, but my exercise looks different than it did before. So now I really focus on things that I tune into my body and I say, body, like, what do you want to do today?
I love that.
A lot of the times, and the other tiny little thing that I've changed is I go for walks now with no music. So I'm completely grounding myself, and I'm noticing everything around me. And I find that really recharges my batteries and helps me with anxiety. The other thing is, I'm going through perimenopause and heading in that direction too. And I just don't sleep as well as I used to. I wake up usually at 3 a.m. with anxiety. So I'm really as conscious as I can be, conscious of going to bed early, which is kind of annoying. And I feel bad because then it dumps a lot on my husband, but he's so supportive and nice, to make sure that I am getting enough sleep. So I find that I get my better sleep earlier on in the night. So I have to make sure that I go to bed earlier so that when I wake up at 3, I don't have a panic attack thinking like, oh my gosh, like I'm so sleep deprived. Yeah. So those are some.
So 3, I want to break them down a little bit because they're so good and they're so applicable to anyone listening. Mm-hmm. I love the first one. Like, just, what do you want to do today, body? Where do you want to go? Like, really, we don't tune into our body enough, and it's always talking to us. Mm-hmm. I forgot your second one already.
So the second one is sleep, and then walking with music. Yeah. And I love music, but
grounding is so important. And, just connecting with nature, and we don't do enough of it. And whenever I get, my fight and flight goes on, I always just go outside and I say, Michele, look up at the sky and smile. And for some reason, it just makes me giggle because I'm being but I'm connecting, and it's just beautiful. So what I love about these things, and even the bedtime hack, know yourself. Try on something new. What's going to work for you, and then play it. Don't get, that didn't work. Well, try something else. Mm-hmm.
Or give it time to work. You can't just say something like, if that's what I get with a lot of people, like 15 minutes, I can't do anything. Okay. Well, if you do 15 minutes once a week, it's not going to do much for you. You have to give it a chance to work like anything else.
Yeah, I love that. I have a girlfriend who didn't work out at all, and now she's doing Pilates once a week, and now I'm not getting any results. Now she's doing it twice a week. And now I'm going to introduce her to you. So she, on the days she does
you got to be Pilates, consistent. Yeah.
She could do her 15-minute workout. So again, for me, when I can't sleep, what I found works for me, and I'll just share because it's coming up in my brain right now, is if I wake up in the middle of the night, and usually I wake up and I'm able to just roll over and go to sleep. But if I can't sleep, I get out of bed and I don't fight it because something in my body is saying, get up, Michele, you're awake. So I find my journal, I go out downstairs away from my husband on the couch and I start writing. And usually after 15, 20 minutes, I'm tired.
Yeah.
I get back in bed and I fall asleep and I have really good dreams after I do that.
That's a great
tip. But
tip.
instead of fighting with myself in my bed, I get up. So again, there's so many good tips. You are a wealth of information. So everybody buy the book, Pray for the Bear. Go on her Instagram. Tell us any final words of wisdom that you want to share with the listeners.
I just think, not to keep harping on the exercise, but I just want to be clear that exercise can prevent you from getting cancer, but not necessarily. Like we talked about, sometimes life hands you things and you're like, why did this happen to me? But if you are focusing on your fitness now and you do get cancer or you do face some kind of other medical problem, it can help you get through it in such a stronger way if you're connected to it before the bad thing happens. Like start now. It's never too late to start. Start today. Move your body. Get up. Go for a walk. You have to do it. It's like there really is no choice. If you want to be healthy, you have to move. So if you look at it like that, just do it. Just like Nike, just like you said.
Exactly. Yeah. Take that walk around the block, make it easy for yourself. And little by little, you'll build. I was in the classroom yesterday and I was making a point, but the point was repetition, right? Anything you're good at in life, it takes repetition. You don't just work out once a day. You don't eat healthy once a day. If you want to write a book, you don't write once a day. You have to do things over and over. And I said, if we all dropped to the floor right now and started doing push-ups, some can do more than others. But if every single day we gave 5 minutes to push-ups, we'd get stronger. So yes. I love the 15-minute application of this. I love that you are the poster child. I love that you do these pop-ups. Oh my God, I'm in love with you already. So I just, everything you're doing is really helping the world. So you have a new fan here. Tell people again where they can find you and then...
Yeah. Cool. So I have my TikTok right here. So on TikTok at FF Carly, Fit Fun Carly, Instagram. My website is fitfuncarly.com. And I love getting emails. It's carly@fitfuncarly.com. So. Okay.
And I'll put all this stuff in the show notes. And then also an email goes out to all my folks. Every Thursday with every podcast with all your contact information will be at the bottom of my email as well.
Awesome.
This has been such a pleasure. You are a joy. And I just namaste to your remission and your health and everything you're doing to help everyone. Thank you for being here on Write Your Outcome.
Thank you so much. This was so much fun, Michelle.
That's a wrap for today's episode of Write Your Outcome with me, Michele Phillips. If something sparked in you and you enjoyed this podcast, please don't forget to rate, review, and share it with someone who needs to hear this message. Let's keep these ripples going and make it a great